Hi there, welcome back to my channel Xgene and proteinX. In this tutorial video, I'm going to talk about the overview of the telomere structure and function. So there are a series of proteins that directly or indirectly associated with the telomeric DNA sequence, and those proteins are TRF1, TRF2, TIN2, TPP1, POT1, RAF1, and each of these proteins having different numerous functions. So let's have a look at the detailed structure of this protein and telomeric DNA complex and related functions. So as you know that this telomeric DNA repeats it formed in the 3' overhang end, and the telomere function is linked to telomere length by the proteins that interact with double-strand telomere repeats, and those proteins are TRF1 and TRF2, and also the associated proteins that interact with each other with these proteins are RAF1, and also the proteins that bind to 3' single strand G-rich overhang region, very end of the chromosome. That protein is a POT1, and the proteins that interact with these proteins, also these proteins are the TPP1. So TPP1 and this and the POT1, these proteins are from complex, and also the another proteins that is known as the TIN2. So another important proteins that found also in the double-stranded region, that proteins is the KU7080. I did not mention here this protein's name. There are two different modes, that is the open telomeric open and telomeric close, these two modes. So let's have a look what happens in the telomeric open mode. So this is the telomere open mode, and here it's the two proteins, that is TPP1 and POT1 that I mentioned here. These two proteins, it recruits and it stimulates the enzymatic activity of the telomerase in case of the short telomeres. So this is the telomere open. Actually, this is the short telomere. So more telomeric repeats gonna be required in the 3' end. So this is why this protein is recruited, and it enhance the telomerase activity or stimulate the telomerase activity, and then the telomeric repeat of this DNA sequence is gonna elongate the 3' end of this overhang region. So let's have a look at what happens in the telomere closed mode. So this is the telomere closed mode, and this is actually for longer telomeric DNA track. So in this case, TPP1 and POT1. So here first in this same complex also formed here, and the TPP1, POT1, those two proteins that here TPP1 and POT1, these two proteins form complex also here in the via two proteins TIN2 and these two proteins also is form complex with the TPP1 and POT1. So and then if the length of this telomeric DNA is very long, and then these two proteins, the TRF1 and TRF2, these two proteins, it bend telomeric DNA. So as you see in this figure, the telomeric DNA is long enough. That's what these two proteins, it bend this telomeric DNA, and then the telomerase functions blocked, because this is long enough, sufficient long, this telomeric DNA repeat. So this is why no need anymore telomere repeat sequence. So that's what telomerase activity is blocked. So if you see this, if you look that schematic diagram, I hope that it will be more clear. So this is the same kind of things in the telomere open mode, and this in this open mode, the 3' end, this TPP1 and POT1, these two proteins form complex with the help of this TIN2, these two proteins, and then the telomerase activity is gonna stimulated by the complex of these two proteins. Then the telomerase activities is start. So this is for the short telomere, because is here need more telomeric repeat DNA sequence. So telomerase is stimulated and then it elongate in the 3' end, the telomeric DNA repeat. So let's have a look at what happens in the telomere closed mode. So as you see in the telomeric closed mode, this telomeric DNA sequence is long enough. So this is why this TPP1 and POT1, these two proteins form complex here, and also the another two proteins TRF1 and TRF2, these two proteins bend the telomeric DNA as you see here. So upon bending by the TRF1 and TRF2, the telomerase activity is blocked. So no telomeric DNA repeats gonna formed here anymore. So this is how the associated proteins play the role in the complex of the telomeric DNA and with the associated proteins. So I hope this video will be helpful. If you like this video, kindly hit the like button, share it, and please subscribe my channel. Thanks.